My name is Lindsay Major. I'm the head of customer experience here at the MLC. This webinar is how to match your music to make money. So we're going to talk about the matching tool. Before we jump in, a couple of just quick housekeeping items. This is a Zoom webinar, a little bit different than a Zoom meeting. At the bottom, you'll see a box for the chat. Some of you have found the chat already. Then there's a box for Q&A. If you have questions, be sure to put them in the Q&A. That ensures that I see your questions. I'll take all questions at the end. We'll go through all of them that come in. We are focusing on the matching tool today, so I will prioritize those things, but use the Q&A for questions. The chat, we're going to save that for resources from our team, just to make sure that everyone gets the information they need. So with that, I am going to share my screen and we're going to jump in. Okay, so again, today we are talking about our matching tool. If you've joined, this is the last part 4 of a 4-part webinar series. We talked about the MLC like an overview of it, and then we jumped into each tool. First, we covered the claiming tool, then we covered how to register works, and now we're going to talk about the matching tool. If you missed those other webinars, no worries, they're on our YouTube channel. So the matching tool. Now, like I said, we're here because you've become a member, you've put in your banking and tax information, you have used our claiming tool and claimed your share to works that are already registered in our portal, and then you registered any new works that were not there. And so now we can talk about the matching tool. So your works do need to be registered in order to use them, to effectively use the matching tool, because we've got to have a work or a song to match sound recordings to. So the way matching works at the MLC, there is an automated process that runs first. So we will first try to match all sound recording data to the songs that are registered in our database automatically first. And we do that pretty well. We're usually in the 85 to 90% range of being able to match things in that automated process. So there are things that kind of don't get matched right away for a lot of reasons. And when things don't get matched, we call it unmatched. And those are sound recording usages that you can search for in our matching tool. And then you can suggest that the MLC matches those sound recordings to the works that are registered in your catalog. So that's why you would use the matching tool. It says, okay, MLC, this wasn't automatically matched. I'm suggesting that you take a look and match that. These are manually reviewed, so they take a little bit longer to process, but we make sure that we get that right. So this searchable data also includes any remaining historic unmatched data. So if that's something that you're worried about, making sure that not only is all the blanket covered, but the historic is as well, you can go in there and make sure that it is. And when we get into the demo of this, I'll let you know how you can determine if it's historic activity versus blanket or both. And then we also, another cool feature in our matching tool are the audio links. We have audio links available from most of the major DSPs. We're still working on a couple of them, but a lot of them are in there and you can listen to the song and make sure that you're matching properly. A couple of just quick best practices before we jump in. Like I mentioned, your song has to be registered in your catalog first. So make sure you're using your claiming tool and then registering anything that's new. Make sure that you should only be making match suggestions for sound recordings of songs that you own, that you have. So either you wrote the song or you're a publisher and you represent the songwriters that wrote the song. If you didn't write the song or your songwriters didn't write the song, then you shouldn't be suggesting that match. Other things to keep in mind, we should not be matching any public domain work. So let's say you did an arrangement of a public domain and that is a musical work that is registered. The actual public domain work should not be a match suggestion. You can't get paid on that. And then anything that's non-music should also not be suggested. But anything else, if you wrote the song or the songwriter that you represent wrote the song and the sound recording is available to be matched, go ahead and suggest it. So with that, I'm going to hop into the demo. Let me get my portal screen up here. Okay. Great. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to go through how to do this. Quick disclaimer, this portal view that you're seeing right here, it is a test environment. I am not showing you any real data or any members information that you should not be seeing. This data is test data, so it's not real production stuff. So we are in the portal in our member home screen. This probably looks very familiar to everyone. You'll click here, and on the left-hand side, under this matching modules, where the matching tool lives. So when using the matching tool, there's a couple of different strategies that you can take. If this is maybe your first time, or you just kind of want to see everything that's there, I recommend casting a wide net first and then narrowing in. Perhaps you know very specifically there's maybe a song or something that you're not getting paid on. Maybe you noticed in your statement that there might be a song missing. You can narrow it in too. It kind of depends on what you're trying to do here. But you can add up to 6 criteria to search. You're able to search by recording title, recording artist, writer, and then the ISRC. So again, in the spirit of casting a wide net, I, as ABCO, want to see, do I have anything from Mick Jagger that's not claimed or is not matched? And you can see all the results. The results show based on the search. So obviously, the more broad the search, the more results you're going to get. The more narrow the search, the fewer results you're going to get. You can filter right here by estimated value. So let's say I only really care about the highest dollar things. I can filter by that and narrow the search that way as well. And maybe I'll get to the rest of it later. I'm going to go ahead and remove, and you can see you can do all those. I'm going to remove that filter, and great. So the source here is the type of activity. So I had mentioned earlier, you'll be able to tell what falls is the blanket activity, the blanket being all of the newly created blanket that went into effect January 2021. That is indicated with this B. And then you'll also be able to tell what's historic, which is the H. So that's anything before the blanket went into effect. Other things to know about navigating this and what you're looking at. These are organized by recording groups. So when I click into, let's click into this one. You could have multiple products or multiple recordings within the recording group. So we try to group everything based on similar data. So like ISRC and artist, writer, all those things. So you could have, I'm trying to find a good example. Let me just narrow my search here and get a good example of. So I want to really narrow in on I can't get no satisfaction. Mick Jagger is my writer. I'm going to get all of these results. And as you can see, this is a good example of, these are all similar recordings. There's different DSPs, perhaps different products, but these are all similar recordings. So they're grouped under a group. And now you'll be able to match all of these recordings to that song instead of having to pick each individual recording. You can also click here, and this link opens up the DSP, goes right to the song, so you can listen and make sure that you're matching the correct thing, which is a really cool feature. So yeah, and then if you want to view more information about that recording specifically, we'll display the data that we're receiving from the DSP. So this is exactly what we get from the DSP, and you can go into that data as well if you'd like. So I see that I want to match these 3 groups to my song. So I select all the groups, and you can select as many or as little as you want. Make sure though that you are selecting the correct song, the correct title, and selecting the correct song to match it to. If you're like in there and you say, oh, well, this is also my song, and while I'm here, I'm just going to match it to this other one because it's still mine, those will get rejected. So make sure it's a one-to-one thing. The title is of the sound recording is the title or the song that you're trying to match to. So I say, okay, I need to match these 3 groups. this is where you'll find the song in your catalog to match it to. So I am going to search by that, the song title, and then my writer. So this is why it's so important that your song is registered in your catalog first, because otherwise you'll have nothing to suggest the recordings to. So this is my work. I can expand it and see the work details if I'd like, but I know that I need to match all of those recordings to this song. So you'll just hit select. You'll confirm that that's the thing that you want to do. And then you'll get a screen that lets you know, great, your suggestions are pending, and our team is going to review those. Once you do that, you're able to track everything in your match history. So you can see right here, this top submission, that's the submission I just did. And you can see that it is in submitted state because our team will have to manually review this. We tend to get these reviewed in like 3 weeks or so within that time frame. So that's how you can keep track. And you can also filter by these statuses. So let's say you really want to hone in on maybe everything that's rejected or perhaps everything that's accepted. You can filter out all the other stuff and really dive into what specifically has been done. And so when you click in, this is where you'll see the recording groups that were accepted, and the data, as you see, is populating, but you can kind of get down into the details of, okay, which recordings were accepted, which were rejected, what do I have to do next? So that's a little bit about the match history. It's a great way to keep track of everything you did. So yeah, with that, I'm going to pop back into my slide deck. I've got a couple more things to show you, and then we'll hop into the Q&A. Okay. So, oops, sorry about that. All right, so again, if you need, that was a lot of information to cover. And like I had mentioned, we've already done a few webinars in this series. So if you need a refresher, there are tutorial videos, the webinars, all that good stuff on our YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. It's really helpful information. You can visit our website for more resources. It's got all sorts of stuff, all sorts of updates. Definitely go to the mlc.com. And if at the end of the day, you're still like having questions or you need someone to walk you through it, our support team is amazing. They're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can call us, you can chat us, you can submit a contact us form. Whatever flavor of support you like works best for you, you can reach out to us and they are waiting to answer your questions. So don't be shy. Okay, so with that, we are going to hop into the Q&A. All right. From Johnny, after we've matched music, do new records ever show up later? i.e., do we need to check again later to see if new recordings appear to be matched for a song? Good question. So again, we do have an automated match. So let's say there's a new recording out on a DSP. Maybe you've already used the matching tool, other things matched. There's a new recording out. Our automated matching process does pick up a lot, but it's a good practice to just check the matching tool periodically to make sure that anything that wasn't picked up in that automated process is. So it's always good to just check it periodically, make sure everything's matched. And I mean, we do our best to pick it up in that automated process, but again, it's really good to just always be on top of that. From Nathan, what if I have a song that should have a match but doesn't? Songs on the same album with much less streams have all had matches, just missing the one more popular song on the album. Nathan, you might have to reach out to support. I'm going to do the best I can to answer your question, but I might be misunderstanding the question. So either follow up or reach out to support to talk more specifically about this. But if I have a song, what I think you might be saying is you're using the matching tool. You think there should be a sound recording there, and it's not. it may already be matched. So there's a couple of ways that you can see the match sound recordings for your songs. So one, you can go to your catalog, and at the bottom of your catalog in that view, you can see all of the sound recordings that are matched to your work. So I check there. You can also check your statements to see what you're getting paid on. And if that's not your question, feel free to follow up or reach out to support. From Charles, are any public domain songs in the catalog? So I'm going to say, reframe that and say, are any public domain songs in our database? There are public domain works in the database. They are tagged as public domain. Public domain, as people know, they don't generate royalties. You shouldn't be registering or claiming shares to public domain. You shouldn't be making matches for public domain. Those aren't those aren't royalty generating songs. You can make arrangements off of those, and those are works, but we do have public domain works in our database. Again, they're tagged as such, so you should know if it's a public domain work or not. Okay, that is it for questions. I'm gonna do a last call, make sure everyone can, there we go, David. Okay. Would you suggest hitting the loading more results till the end of the listing on any match searches? So I'm gonna answer that part first. You can do that. It will eventually stop. We show, I think, 200 or 250 results. What I would probably be more effective way to do this is to just filter your search down, or like try to, so let's say you cast a wide net and you're like, I put my writer name in and it just keeps going. I would then add another field to your search and just try to narrow it down a little bit to make sure that you're getting everything. You can also use the filter for the estimated value to just make sure that you're seeing everything that's there. So I would recommend that over just like scrolling for hours. And then the second part of your question, could your works you're trying to match be spread out, some at the top of the list and possibly listed later in this particular search? It's possible, just depending how you search. The most relevant results should appear at the top, but depending on the search terms, what could change things. So for example, if I searched a song title and my writer name, there may be a song title with a different writer that shows above something that maybe is a different title, but your writer name. That's possible. So yeah, but generally speaking, it should be at whatever you're searching for should be at the top. Okay. I'm looking for making sure I'm getting to the matching tool questions first, and then I'll come back to the other ones because this is for the matching tool. Byron asks, so all uploaded and released music needs to be matched. It needs to be matched, but you're not necessarily the one who has to go into you don't have to go into the matching tool and do it all yourself. Like I said, when music is released on these platforms, and they play on these platforms like Spotify, Apple, Amazon, those digital service providers, DSPs, they provide us their data on a monthly basis. We then have an automated matching process, and we do that first. And anything that doesn't get matched, like for whatever reason, in that automated process, will then go to the matching tool for you to search. So it's more of a making sure that everything got picked up in that automated process versus, okay, I released something, now I have to go use the matching tool, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see. How long does it take to get matched songs confirmed? So the sound recordings are being matched to your songs in your catalog, or your musical works that are registered in your catalog. So if you make a match suggestion, say, okay, these recordings need to be matched to this song. I think right now it's about 3 weeks or so for the team to review it and make and process it and all that. Another good thing to just keep in the back of your mind is that we refresh this data monthly. We get the data from the DSPs monthly, therefore we refresh monthly. So if perhaps you made a match suggestion and you still see it in the matching tool, that doesn't mean that it's not going to check again in a couple of weeks, and it may or may not be there, just depending on if it got matched. But typically we're processing these in about 3 weeks. Okay. Just looking for matching tool stuff, and I'll come back for other things. Okay, Landon asked, just for clarification, what are the main differences between the claiming tool and the matching tool? I'm going to answer that first, then I'll get to the rest of the question. So the claiming tool it's what you should do first. The claiming tool allows you to claim shares to works that are already registered in our database. So you are putting your share of that work or your share onto a work that already exists. The matching tool, you're matching sound recordings to that work. The work has to be registered in order to match sound recordings to the work. But the claiming tool allows you basically to put your registration, put your share on the work. The matching tool allows you to match sound recordings to that work. Next part of the question, do we have to use them in conjunction, or with a new registration, does the matching tool automatically match our new sound recordings? So no, you wouldn't use them in conjunction. Like I said, the work has to be registered first. So when you claim your share to a work, you're effectively re-registering the work with your publisher share on it, or your information. That will need to be processed and approved and reviewed and all that good stuff. Once that's in your catalog, then you can go to the matching tool and use that. And again, the matching tool isn't automatically matching anything. The MLC has a process that runs first, and anything that doesn't get matched in that process then lands in the matching tool. So it's always good practice, again, to just check that periodically, make sure that things are looking good for you. Also good, like when you check your statements and you're like, this seems weird, it might be in the matching tool. So yeah, that's the difference there. Okay. Okay, from Nathan, how long will it typically take between when a song released and showing up in the MLC matching tool? That's kind of a difficult one to answer. So again, we get that data monthly. So if you released a song, let's say in January, we would receive that data like February-ish. We would receive that data. And then we would have to process that data, and then it would do that matching process, all that good stuff, and then it could show. So I mean, you're probably looking. It's hard to estimate. It just kind of depends on and then what gets picked up, and so yeah. So I don't have a great answer for that one, but we do, like I said, we do refresh that data monthly. So. Okay. So David asked, where would I'm going to say, where would rejected match suggestions end up to show us what the issue may be for the rejection? So they don't, if you suggested a match and we rejected it for whatever reason, that would basically, it would show as rejected in your match history, and the sound recordings would just remain in the matching tool for matching. So they don't really go anywhere. They just don't get attached to that song that you're trying to match it to. We are working on an enhancement in the portal to define like why, like a rejection reason why something may have been rejected. Right now, we're still in development. So right now, if you're wondering why something was rejected, you should reach out to the support team, and they can look into it for you and provide some guidance there. Okay. from Renee, when you say matching sound recordings to your work, does that entail another artist's cover of your work or your own recording? Yes, that makes sense, Renee, and that's a great question. So yeah, when you write a song and somebody else covers it, you as the songwriter or the publisher representing that songwriter get to match that cover, that sound recording of that cover to your work. So to answer your question, yes, it does. So you would match, and that's a great use for the matching tool as well to find any covers. So I, Lindsay Major, wrote a song, and let's say I live in an alternate universe and Ed Sheeran covered it, right? Ed Sheeran doesn't get to claim that, or doesn't get to match that sound recording to a work. I get to match that sound recording as a songwriter to my work. So hopefully that helps. Okay, just scrolling for some matching tool questions to make sure we get through those in our time. Okay. Okay, from Darcy, if we search our song in the matching tool and entries appear, does that mean we should take the step of matching it? Or is there an indication when songs have already been matched? I'm a self-published songwriter. Darcy, you should match it if it is your song. If it is if it's a recording of your song. So, but make sure it's correct, right? Because there are lots of songs with the same title. So you do need to do some investigation and make sure, yes, I'm the writer listed on the, since you're a self-published songwriter, I'm the writer on this song. Perhaps it was recorded by someone else, maybe it was recorded by you, I'm not sure, but this, just make sure I'm the writer, this is my song, I should suggest this, this recording to this song. There isn't, if a song's already been matched, you will see it in your catalog. So if it's matched by the in any process, the automated process or through the manual matching team, it does show up on your work registration at the bottom. If you go to your catalog, you search your song, at the bottom, you'll see matched sound recordings. You can see what's matched there. You can also see what you're getting paid on or what's matched in your statements. But I would go to that song in the catalog and look and see what's matched. But if you're asking for sound recordings that are appearing in the matching tool, is there an indicator of if it's matched, it won't be in the matching tool? Obviously, we refresh that data monthly, so it's possible that a match is made before that data is refreshed. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Okay. Cool, just making sure I get the, okay. Nathan asks, how often are songs reported without ISRC codes attached by the streaming service? It happens occasionally. I'd say more often than not, there is an ISRC code there. So it's not a typical thing that happens, but occasionally we do see that. I don't really have a good percentage or anything, but it's not the norm, I suppose. All right, just making sure. Okay, it looks like I got all of the matching tool questions. I'm going to cover some other things since we've got some time. Darcy, I'm a self-published artist and can't find a payee on my royalty statement. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I would recommend reaching out to support so that they can look more specifically into what's going on with that. Sorry, I'm not able to, I just don't want to answer that question incorrectly. Charles, so arrangements make them payable. I'm pretty sure you're talking about public domain. If you have an if you make have an arrangement of a public domain work and it's materially different, it's a new work, it's a new musical work. So that doesn't make the public domain payable. That's just it's like a new musical work, like a derivative or an arrangement. And that arrangement would be payable. Okay. From Juanita, does the MLC contain actual licensing agreements nested in the portal itself? So no, there really aren't any in this world. The blanket mechanical license has replaced individual licensing. So under the blanket, and you can see which digital services have secured the blanket with us on our website. We do have a section of notices, I think it's called. We can pop that in the chat for you all, where you can see what services have secured the blanket from us and for what different products, if that falls under. So under that blanket, that covers all usages on these platforms. So gone are the days for individual licensing from that regard. If you're talking about, like, yes, there are scenarios where people have voluntary licenses, so that's a directly negotiated deal. We don't house those anywhere, but we are reported that data, and we do know that those are what's happening with that. But hopefully that answers your question, Juanita. Thank you. Okay. If a song is registered with CD Baby Pro, do I still have to register the song with the MLC? No. CD Baby Pro is a publishing administrator. So you are paying a little bit extra on your CD Baby membership to have that CD Baby Pro publishing. So you've said, hey, I'm going to pay you to do this for me. So it's their responsibility to register your works, to use our matching tool, to make sure everything's all set up and good to go. And you just collect directly from them. You are paying for that, but it's a service that they're providing for you. So no, you should not be registering something that CD Baby Pro is doing for you. Okay. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate it. Okay, that is all of the questions. Last call for anything. If you didn't get your question answered, again, reach out to our support team, available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can call us, chat us, email us. We love to help. But thank you all for joining today. Okay, I got one last one. Does Songtrust register with MLC? Yes, Songtrust is a publishing administrator, and they are responsible for registering your works and collecting that money and paying you. And if you are somebody who is using one of these services like CD Baby Pro, Songtrust, TuneCore, what have you, you can see. I don't know. I don't work for those companies, so we can't explain exactly where, but you should be able to see in those statements where the MLC money and everything. So just a hot tip there. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining today, and we will see you soon.